The strike team breached the hull in absolute silence. Their black armor moved like shadows across the outer plating of the derelict human warship, magnetic boots gripping steel while stars glimmered through cracks left from the last battle. The ship should have been crawling with soldiers. It was a flagship-class destroyer, feared across half the Orion arm. Yet not a single weapon turret fired, no automated sentry bots locked on, and the vessel gave no sign of resistance. That alone made Commander Ralden Vore uneasy. He had invaded dozens of human ships, and every time, the species fought with rabid desperation. Retreat was not in their military vocabulary. Surrender was considered shameful. The silence here felt like a trap too patient to see. Ralden's voice came through comms as little more than a breath. Squad A, secure the entry. Squad B, sweep toward the command deck. No mistakes. Everyone acknowledged with soundless click. The hull door peeled open with the hiss of decompressing air. Cold, stale atmosphere greeted them. Their boots crossed the threshold, eyes sweeping the corridor. Walls flickered with dying lights, wires exposed like veins ripped from flesh. The deeper they pushed, the more wrong the silence felt. There were no scorch marks, no blast holes, no signs of gunfire. Something else had happened here. The first body lay in front of a bulkhead door. A human officer, face frozen mid-scream. No wounds. No blood. Just terror, pure and sculpted, as if fear had been weaponized. Lieutenant Ezra Voss whispered, "What in the void did this?" Ralden didn't answer. He only signaled them forward. More bodies appeared in the next chamber. Engineers slumped over terminals, pilots collapsed in chairs, Marines lying on the floor with hands still gripping rifles that had never fired. Whatever killed them didn't give them time to defend themselves. The deeper they traveled, the more familiar rumors crawled back into the soldiers' minds. Rumors of a woman the humans called General Mira Cade. A strategic prodigy. A tactician who never repeated a mistake. A name that, in Imperial war rooms, was spoken with caution. Not hate. Not anger. But the respect given to a force of nature. Twice she dismantled Imperial fleets with fleets half their size. Once she infiltrated an alien stronghold and shut down an entire hive alone. Soldiers joked she wasn't human, because believing she was helped them sleep at night. Ralden hoped she wasn't on this ship. They reached the final corridor before the command deck. Bodies were scattered against the walls, as if they'd been thrown by unseen force. Their helmets were intact, armor undamaged, but their eyes were open, their hearts were still. Fear alone had ended them. A strange violet residue streaked across bulkheads in wide splatters, glowing faintly under emergency light. It was not human blood. The strike team hesitated. Ralden raised his fist. "We go in. No one fires without my command." The command deck door slid open, and for the first time since landing, the team heard sound. One person breathing, steady and controlled. A single figure sat in the captain's chair, legs crossed, hands folded neatly in her lap. A human woman in a black formal uniform. Straight black hair, expression unreadable, eyes too calm for the carnage surrounding her. She did not stand. She did not resist. She simply watched them enter. Ralden stepped forward. "General Mira Cade." Her voice was quiet. "You took your time." The soldiers aimed rifles. She did not flinch. No weapon visible. No implants. No armor. Just a woman sitting in a dead ship as if waiting for them. Ralden expected an ambush. Mines. Drones. Suicide trigger. Something. But Mira remained motionless. Her eyes held no anger, no fear, only a deep, unsettling patience. "You're under arrest," Ralden said. "By authority of the Galactic Empire, you will surrender immediately." Mira rose slowly. She offered her wrists as if she had rehearsed the gesture. The movement was graceful, almost polite. "I already surrendered," she said. Her words were wrong. Humans did not just surrender. Not generals of her rank. Not legends whispered across battlefields. Ezra Voss cuffed her with tremor in his hands. Something about her presence made his throat tighten. It wasn't beauty or intimidation. It was the sense that she was studying them, not with fear but with quiet familiarity. As they escorted her through the death-filled corridors, Ezra spoke softly. "You killed all of them, didn't you?" Myra's answer was light as breath. "If I had killed anyone, you wouldn't be speaking to me now." Ezra stopped walking. Ralden shoved him forward. They dragged Mira to the extraction shuttle. She never resisted, never struggled. She sat in her containment pod as if taking a seat for a scheduled appointment. The pod sealed, transparent walls glowing with stasis field. Ralden stared at her through the glass. She stared back, eyes unreadable. The trip to the Imperial prison vessel, the Black Sun, lasted 2 hours. Mira never blinked, never moved. She seemed perfectly content in silence. The psychological pressure bothered the squad more than any weapon would have. By the time they docked, half the soldiers wished she had fought back. It would have felt normal. The Black Sun was built to break enemies. Gravity cells, neural dampeners, anti-psionic shields, interrogators whose names were nightmares. Mira walked out of her pod like a guest arriving for dinner. Scientists scanned her for implants. Nothing. Scanned for weapons. Nothing. Scanned for genetic alterations, biochemical enhancers, cybernetic augmentations. Nothing. She was simply a human woman, physically unremarkable, no enhancements of any kind. That terrified them more. The lead interrogator, Draven Solis, was known for reducing the greatest military minds to pleading wreck. He greeted her in a room lit with cold light and polished steel. Mira sat across from him, posture perfect, hands folded. He attempted intimidation first. She smiled, faint and dismissive. He tried to provoke her pride. She answered only with silence. He switched to empathy, offering water, food, comfort. She declined with a calm thank you, as if he had offered help she didn't need. Finally, Draven leaned forward. "You are nothing without your army. Your strategies die with you. Tell us their codes, their bases, their hidden fleets." Mira spoke without raising her voice. "You think I lost my army? I never lose anything." Draven's jaw tightened. "Your entire crew is dead." "No," she answered. "They are silent." Draven laughed at her answer. The cameras flickered. His datapad shut off. Lights dimmed for half a second. Mira didn't blink. "I am done talking," she said. "When you are ready to understand, come back." She was returned to her cell. The guards posted outside were veterans, men who laughed at death and drank with it nightly. Yet every one of them looked uncomfortable standing near her door. Ralden felt it too, a pressure behind his ribs, as if her presence alone was wrong. On the first night, the guard rotation changed every hour. No one wanted to stay longer. The ones who did began reporting nightmares, dozens of voices whispering her name, corridors filled with purple blood, ships splitting apart in silence. A veteran named Harland woke screaming from a dream where Mira stood over him, watching him drown in a sea of eyes. He refused to return to his post. Sirens drowned the ship in chaos. The Black Sun was built to cage monsters, yet every corridor now shook like prey caught in a predator's jaws. Commander Ralden sprinted toward the nearest junction, Ezra struggling to keep pace. The emergency lights pulsed red, turning the hallway into a vein of panic and metal. Soldiers screamed orders, their voices fracturing beneath terror they could not name. The internal scanners, designed to detect cloaking, teleportation, psionics, and biological anomalies, registered nothing. Mira seemed to exist and not exist at the same time. Ralden stopped at a security door smeared with violet blood. The stain glimmered like alien paint. 2 armored guards lay motionless beside it, armor intact, weapons untouched, eyes staring upward. No wounds. Just the silent, frozen end that had claimed the crew of Myra's destroyer. Ezra knelt beside one of the bodies. His heart stopped. No trauma. No toxins. Ralden stepped back. He could feel the ship breathing, metal vibrating beneath his feet. "She's moving toward the bridge," he said. She wants control. A squad of reinforcements ran past them, trying to hold a defensive line. None spoke. None dared. Their expressions were stripped of bravado. Fear had eaten the warrior out of them. Ralden realized Mira didn't need to kill everyone. All she had to do was make them believe she could. They reached a stairwell. A body lay at the bottom, sprawled across the steps. Admiral Karandrax. His reputation for cruelty was legendary, and yet his face showed nothing but disbelief, as if death had come for him like a joke he wasn't smart enough to understand. His pulse was gone. His weapon hadn't left its holster. Ralden exhaled low. She killed the Admiral. Ezra shook his head. She didn't touch him. A cold realization crept in. Mira did not need weapons. Her presence alone unraveled the strongest minds. They reached the bridge entrance. The blast doors were sealed. Soldiers inside argued through the comms, voices trembling, overlapping, breaking. Ralden placed his hand against the panel, trying to override manually. The system rejected his command. Access was being rewritten from somewhere inside. The doors slid open, not for Ralden, but for her. Mira Cade stepped through the threshold, walking with calm precision. She was no longer wearing cuffs. She did not sprint or hide. She moved as if each footstep was an appointment kept on time. Guards raised their weapons. None fired. Their fingers refused to obey. She looked at Ralden first. You should not be here. Ezra pointed a shaking rifle at her. Stay back. She stopped. Her eyes were dark, but not cruel. You are not my enemy, she said softly. Stop pretending you want to kill me. Ezra lowered his gun without meaning to. The act felt like relief, like exhaling after drowning. Behind her, the officers at the bridge console trembled. One of them whispered a prayer to a machine god the Empire didn't officially believe in. Mira surveyed the room with quiet, surgical precision. Every screen flickered. Every system blinked yellow, then red. Firewalls meant to withstand galactic cyber attacks crumbled in seconds. Don't touch the controls, Ralden warned. I am not touching anything, she answered. Your systems are simply recognizing authority. The captain, a silver-haired veteran named Adrian Locke, stepped forward with trembling dignity. You can kill us, he said, but you won't win. The Empire does not bow to one human. Mira approached him, close enough to reach out. She didn't. Instead, she spoke gently. You misunderstand. I am not here to make the Empire bow. She leaned closer. I am here to make it end. She reached the central holodable, where a star map projected thousands of worlds under Imperial control. Her hand hovered an inch above its surface. Every system on the map flickered. The Empire's military networks were linked to this vessel. Command centralization that once made them efficient now turned them into prey. Ralden stared at her in dawning horror. You planned this. You let us take you. Her gaze held his. Of course I did. Ezra felt his legs weaken. The war had been a chessboard, and they were pieces she moved with quiet inevitability. Mira triggered a transmission. Across the holodable, encrypted files spilled open. Secret orders for planetary purges erased civilian colonies, slave markets disguised as labor camps, and every atrocity dressed in bureaucracy. The broadcast beamed across secure Imperial frequencies, hijacking communication relays they believed unbreakable. The Empire's crimes bled into the galaxy, unedited and undeniable. Captain Locke lunged for his sidearm in a last burst of fury. Mira didn't lift a finger. He froze mid-motion, breath caught halfway in his chest, weapon slipping from paralyzed fingers. Her eyes softened, not mocking, but mournful. I would prefer you lived, she whispered. Locke fell slowly, unconscious but alive. Ezra swallowed. What are you? The lights dimmed. The ship thrummed with a force deeper than machines. Mira answered without pride. A consequence. Every major fleet receiving the broadcast now knew the Empire's truth. Uprisings would ignite. Alliances would fracture. The Empire would not fall in a day, but it would fall. Ralden realized something else. Mira could have killed them all, yet she hadn't. Even now, she avoided unnecessary death. He stepped forward cautiously. If you wanted vengeance, you already had it. Why spare us? Because you didn't choose this war, she said. You were born into it, trained to obey it. You never asked who paid the cost. Her words removed something from him, an invisible weight he didn't know he carried. He lowered his weapon. Ezra followed. With the command codes she stole in silence, Mira opened the hangar bay. A sleek escape craft, Imperial-made, fast enough to outrun anything, powered online. She walked toward it. Ralden forced out the question burning in him. What happens now? Mira paused at the hangar entrance. The alarm lights painted her silhouette crimson. You will live. That is more than the Empire ever offered my people. Ezra stepped forward. Will we see you again? Her voice softened. I hope not. If you do, it means I wasn't finished. She boarded the craft. The engines hummed. The bay doors opened to starlight, infinite and silent. Before lifting off, she looked once more at Ralden. I asked for water. Not because I needed it, but because kindness is the only test that matters. Tonight you know how you answered. The ship blasted into the void, leaving the black sun behind like a ghost shaken awake. Ralden stood in silence, feeling the crushing truth of her final words. She could have slaughtered everyone aboard, yet she chose restraint. The Empire had feared a monster and instead captured a mirror. Far beyond the viewport, her craft vanished into faster-than-light travel. The galaxy would soon erupt with rebellion, truth, and consequences none could escape.